Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. So glad to see you. We have a duo of candles today. Actually both of them. Both of them are from Yankee Candle. And I was kind of hoping that these were going to be a true summer collection from Yankee Candle. And they are, but they were exclusive to Target. And in the fine print on the website, it kind of indicated that. And they came out about a month ago, pretty much right in conjunction with the Target Circle Week, where all the candles are 30% off. So it ended up being an amazing deal because you could get these large tumblers for about, I don't know, I can't even remember what it was. It was like 12 bucks or something like that, you know? Maybe 13, which is fantastic. Yet Target only sells the large tumblers, either of the Signature, which is a soy blend, or they also sell the paraffin, the old, country candle look of the Apothecary 100% paraffin. So I went, because they are busily and intentionally or otherwise trying to run their country candle Apothecary jars into the ground by not giving them enough scent oils, not pumping them up enough, etc. I really think that the soy candles are actually your best bet in terms of strength and throw and performance. Somebody said, this was in conjunction with Kringle, actually, and it was in a Facebook group. And they said, and I agree with this, there have been a lot of complaints about the country candle, because Kringle has the same, where they used to have the same situation, where like their country apothecaries were kind of a nod to old school Yankee Candle, and they were all 100% paraffin. And then they did a 100% soy over in their quote-unquote Kringle line, which was a much more modern and sleek tumbler design. So it was almost exactly the same. But they recently converted all of their paraffins over into 100% soy, which is not a move that I supported. I've not liked it. I've been fairly vocal about it, etc. If you're new to this channel, I'm actually quite fond of paraffin, and I know that's very unpopular now, at least in certain circles. I like the paraffin for a whole host of reasons. Anyway, this person on the Facebook group was like, there were actually no problems with that country candle Apothecary, with those candles, because there's lots of complaints now that they've gone over to 100% soy that they don't have strength and throw anymore, and they even have less strength and throw than like the 100% soy counterpart in the modern Kringle line. And somebody said, and I agree with this, that country candle paraffin side of things had no problems with strength and throw until the soy wax was developed over on the Kringle side. And that is when you started noticing that the strength and throw on the country side started decreasing, almost like appreciably. And this person speculated that it might have been like a marketing strategy to basically stop putting as much scent oils on the paraffin side so that people would want the soy more. And it was just kind of like in a passive aggressive way, kind of trying to shuttle everyone over to the soy side, which is kind of what it seems like Yankee is doing now. I actually think that that's a possibility, although I would say that it wasn't so much, if there was an intentional decision to kind of decrease the amount of scent oils in the paraffin jars, I think it wasn't necessarily to push everyone over to soy, but I think it was probably so that the soy wouldn't look bad. Because the soy, 100% soy wax formulas just have like a certain like ceiling in terms of strength and throw, and they just can't go farther than that. The soy, 100% soy formulas do not hold fragrance as well, frankly, as paraffin does. And it's just objective. It's not like a personal thing. It's a factual thing. It's a scientific thing. The paraffin holds it better. It gives a more resonant, a more deep kind of fragrance. it gives a consistent fragrance, and it gives a louder fragrance. Now, the trade-off to that is a great deal more sootiness, usually, than the soy wax, which burns very clean. So it's kind of a trade-off in terms of what it is that you find most important to you. And there are a lot of people who have decided that the cleanliness of soy wax is worth the trade-off of like all of the strength and throw that would be missing. Anyway, for companies that have kind of half of their catalog soy, half of their catalog paraffin, I could understand why you would start decreasing the amount of scent oils in the paraffin just so that it was, so that it wasn't so obvious that like these candles are strong and these candles are not. Does that make sense? I suspect it is a strategy just to not make it obvious how bad the soy candles are in terms of strength and throw. Because when you have competing candles and then, God forbid, if you have the same like fragrance, i.e. you pour a certain fragrance in soy and in paraffin, you give the consumer a choice, it will just be all the more obvious that like one of them is very bold, is very strong, and the other one is really not. And so I think if there have been moves in Yankee or in Kringle to decrease the strength and throw of the paraffin in a fairly intentional manner, it's not necessarily a conspiracy. It's really just so that they don't want to upstage. They don't want to upstage the soy. And it would just be so obvious if they were on the same shelf that the soy fleet just does not have the same strength as the paraffin does. Anyway, close parentheses on that. If Yankee Candle is in fact driving their 100% paraffins into the ground, it may not be necessarily because they hate the paraffin. It's just that they're trying to bring the paraffin back down on par, strength and throw, with their soy blend that they care a great deal about and have invested in, and they may have just overcompensated, you know, so that now the paraffins are like less than the soy, etc. So anyway, I'm sorry, that was a lot. And so I apologize if you just tuned out for that. The upshot of it is, if you are trying candles from Yankee Candle, which frankly, it's not the Yankee Candle of before. I grew up on Yankee Candle in the 80s and 90s. This is a different company. It's owned by different people. And unfortunately, it shows. So if you're trying Yankee Candle, please adjust your expectations. The reputation of this company historically is much stronger than perhaps what you will experience now. So definitely just keep that in mind. And then if you are trying them, I would actually suggest trying the soy blend. I apologize, I should close this window. I suggest the soy blends just because they not only burn amazing like a dream, hardly any sooting, although there is still some, and it is a little bit of a myth that there's no soot on a 100% soy formula or a soy blend, but there is significantly less than you would expect from a paraffin. But the strength and throw is at least generally speaking stronger than in the paraffin. Okay. Let's move on from that. Here is our collection, and this collection had, I believe, 6 candles. I hauled them all. I will link that video down below, but you can find it too if you go to playlists on my channel, and I have collected so many playlists. Just find the Yankee Candle playlist, and you should be able to find the haul for this. There are 6 candles in it, and for the most part, they were all quite decent, if not more than decent. There are several really fruity candles. The Aruba one, which smells like melons, it's a triple melon candle. It smells like honeydew, watermelon, and cantaloupe all at the same time. It's really fantastic, but certainly watermelon forward. There is a beautiful bright yellow mango candle. I think that is the curacao one. Yeah. I always pronounced it curacao, and now I know it's curacao, and so there's a little bit of slippage there. The curacao one is very mango forward, so that's definitely, and it looks like a mango. It's a beautiful, gorgeous yellow color. There is a dusty blue kind of alpine looking one for St. Lucia, and it's supposed to be St. Lucia Skies. It's a pretty soapy laundry scent, and I think a fairly generic one, so I don't necessarily recommend that candle, but it's nice variety, and it looks stunning. There is a gorgeous bright red, what was it? It wasn't Jamaica. It was Barbados. I think it's Barbados. A beautiful, like magenta red. And it's a more fall leaning kind of vetiver allspice kind of candle. I think it's really great. And then there are these two, which were my favorites, frankly. And it is Jamaica Vibes. And it was this amazing, like kind of teal green, peacock teal kind of color. And then Bahamas Beach Bum, which was this nice creamy kind of coconut sandalwood color. These two were my favorites. They're still my favorites, although I did return the St. Lucia one, and I returned the mango one because mango is not for me. And I didn't really need a cliched laundry scent either. I don't even lean in that direction. I did keep Barbados, so I will be burning that in late August. I did keep the Aruba watermelon one for July because it seems very July to me. So I'm not going to bury the lead on these. They are just so weak in terms of strength and throw. They really are. And so even less strength and throw than you would expect from the new generation of these candles. Since it is a Target exclusive, I kind of wonder if Yankee Candle phoned it in and just didn't pour the right scent oils. They just kind of figured, Target crowd, they won't know any different. And to be honest, the candles at Target that are like the Target proprietary candles are so terrible that the bar is so low that I feel like Yankee might have just been like, fuck it. Let's just match that low standard. The strength and throw are just so bad. It was particularly bad on Bahamas Beach Bum. I would say, this lived its entire existence in the guest bathroom and even struggled in the guest bathroom to like fill that tiny space. So I would say this is in the 2 to 3 realm in terms of strength and throw. There were times, and because the soy formula is so great, you can burn this for 8 hours, no question. And frankly, I did, just to try to get through them at a certain point once I had a good sense for them. As I've said before, I don't feel comfortable doing a review for you guys unless and until any candle has burned down to the wick clips or can proceed no further. So I wanted to burn all the way through them to really make sure it didn't dud out or whatever else. They did not. You can burn them for 8 hours. And in doing so, I did get this one up to, like with the door open of the guest bathroom, I could get it to come out into the hallway a little bit, primarily because it has a very strong like Palo Santo wood and amber perfume kind of aspect to it, which does amplify a little bit more than some of the other notes, which we're going to talk about in a second. So I could get it to come out, but it had to have been burning for a significant number of hours before I got to that place. So I just can't recommend it for strength and throw. That said, and I will reiterate this at the end, would I repurchase it? Yeah, I would, because the fragrance is just that special. I think I would try, if Target runs another really good sale and I can get it for like pennies, right? I think I would try this in the 100% paraffin. Given the like trends at Yankee Candle, usually the paraffin is worse than this, but I do kind of feel as though this was so bad, it can't be worse than that, right? And when I was smelling the paraffin in store, it seemed at least as bold, if not bolder in some ways. So who knows? Like maybe this will be one of those weird like switches where like, because they weren't caring about the scents, maybe they just didn't even bother to like adjust the soy paraffin scents, in which case the paraffin will perform better as it should on paper. Anyway, also I just thought that the Apothecary ones looked so cute. all of them looked great. They had amazing, stunning colors. And while they do have like a clip art motif, which is not my favorite, I thought it looked so pretty. I thought it was actually thoughtful, not the usual like just crazy thoughtless clip art spread across the entire jar. It was like thoughtful, it was colorful, it popped up against the colored wax. So all of them looked great, but I did kind of like the Apothecaries even more. I just thought they looked a little bit more charming. So I would repurchase Bahamas Beach Bum, if nothing else, just for the cold sniff, because it was that good. Jamaica did a little bit better in terms of strength and throw. So it stayed in the back bedroom. I did not have to take it into the guest bathroom. But again, it did have to be burning for several hours, 3-4 hours, before I could kind of fill the back bedroom, which it shouldn't take that many hours, I think, to fill. It got up to about a 6, maybe a 6.5 in that back area after several hours. Again, really fairly weak on strength and throw, but marginally better than Bahamas Beach Bum. So I would say in an open concept, you're still gonna call this a 3 or a 4. In an open concept, this would be a 2. So it is marginally better, and it filled, a closed, albeit large space, at least decently within several hours. Okay, so let's talk about the scents quickly. So let's do Jamaica first, actually, because it's the oddest one. I don't think that the notes listed are actually indicative of what you're smelling at all. And so I just want to like flag that for you. Unfortunately, if these were sold through Yankee Candles website, Yankee's Candles website does give you dedicated top, middle, and base notes, so a little bit more information. Whenever Target sells a Yankee candle, they don't bother with that. They just give, and there usually is for Yankee, also like a sentence blurb that kind of evokes the rhetorical vibe of the candle. Target will put that under the description, but they don't bother with scent notes past that point for the most part. And so unfortunately, I can't give you an exhaustive sense of the fragrance notes for either this one or the other one, but I can give you the blurb. So the blurb for Jamaica Vibes is: experience Jamaica through the scents of emerald palm leaves, tart rhubarb, pink pepper, and patchouli. And then if you drop down further in the website, they actually gave a scattered list. And this kind of popped to the website several weeks after they were on there. And the notes listed in no particular order are vetiver, patchouli, black currant, and bamboo, which is kind of a fantasy fragrance. You're not going to get much scent out of bamboo, but at least they seem to be saying something woody. But let me tell you something, with all of these notes, palm leaves, bamboo, rhubarb, pink pepper, patchouli, vetiver, and black currant, literally the only one that I think that you're going to smell in this candle is pink pepper. It does, and disregard the pink, it could just mean that it's a softer pepper, but think like black pepper. And you can definitely smell the spice. It's a savory black pepper, and on cold, it is strong, and I love it. Oh my gosh. It's just stunning. It's a stunning black pepper note. It is equal parts black pepper and, although not listed, grapefruit. So this is a grapefruit and black pepper candle. And I love grapefruit, and I'm always on the hunt for an amazing grapefruit candle. I thought this one was going to be it. I tend to not like things as achingly sweet, and so what I loved is that this was equal parts amazing, authentic grapefruit with its tanginess and its sourness and its sweetness, along with this amazing black pepper that was cutting it, and the whole thing was just so fantastic. Unfortunately, upon it being burned, the black pepper does kind of go away a little bit. And it could be partly because the candle is just not strong across the board. If it was stronger, perhaps I'd be able to pick up on the pepper more. But when you smell it on cold, it is equal parts black pepper and grapefruit. And like the equal parts totally goes away once it's burned. Then you just kind of get a really nice grapefruit that leans a little less sweet than maybe some grapefruit candles that you've experienced. It was still a very nice grapefruit. It reminded me a little bit of a Homeworks candle that I reviewed last month, which was the sparkling pink grapefruit. This one was a little less sweet. Between the two, I actually like the smell of this one better, even without the really prominent black pepper note. And I think they performed similarly. So it may be that the Yankee candle was a little bit less strong than sparkling pink grapefruit, which is not good because sparkling pink grapefruit from Homeworks was not strong at all. But I also burned sparkling pink grapefruit in a hurricane, and it had like 4 wicks, I think. Yeah? Whereas this one only has 2 wicks. And I felt like it was at least competing. It was comparable to that sparkling pink grapefruit. So if this candle, even with no other modifications, if this candle was poured into a larger vessel and was given 4 wicks, I think it would probably best the Homeworks one. And I really wish this one did have multiple wicks because, like I said, even without changing the formula, which would be my first choice, is the formula would be tweaked and more scent oils added or whatever else needs to happen. If it had additional wicks, I think it would help a great deal. I would repurchase this with more wicks. I don't think I would repurchase it as is, 2 wicks, unless something changed in the formula or there were an additional wick. I mean, it's my favorite grapefruit candle to date, but the bar is very low for that. And man, I wanted this one to perform better than it does. I am not getting any vetiver or patchouli or currant. It is possible that the tart rhubarb, that it is rhubarb instead of grapefruit, because rhubarb has a very like sunny, tangy, sour kind of vibe as well. But for me, this is a true citrus note. If there was a more exhaustive list of notes, it may be, for instance, that it's a tart rhubarb along with orange peel or something like that, that is giving off that grapefruit kind of smell. But if I didn't see this list of notes, there's no way I would identify it as rhubarb. It's such a bright, zesty citrus note, a very authentic one, that I think most people are going to say this is a grapefruit candle through and through. And upon it being burned, it was mostly grapefruit with a little bit of pepper, far less than I wanted. Okay, Bahamas Beach Bum is pretty close though in terms of the notes. In fact, most of the candles were fairly close to the blurb. This was just one of the weird ones, that the Jamaica one, that was just really off, really off. All right, so the Bahamas blurb is: dream of living right on the beach in the Bahamas with the sense of, it says cocoa water, but I think they mean coconut water. Coconut water? Jasmine, salted driftwood, and white sands. So you would expect some sort of coconut, some sort of white floral, some sort of really musky, like wood dimension, perhaps an aquatic dimension. And then you have quote unquote white sands, which usually means sandalwood, coconut, amber. And all of those are here. Dropping down into the drop-down box, they also mentioned weirdly clementine. And then of course, same jasmine, driftwood, and then it mentions amber too. So there was that. And the amber wasn't necessarily in the blurb. So smelling it, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Yes, there has to be a lot of amber. And I think that the clementine in there is giving off the same profile as like a bergamot would. It's high, it's sharp, but it's more of a perfume oil than it is like a true citrus note. It's real perfumey, but it's got a very deep woody muskiness. And yes, it also has like coconut in there. It's got the coconut, it's got the jasmine, the white floral, and it's also got like the amber notes, sandalwood notes in there. So all of the associations are there that are very beach forward. And with the like kind of bright clementine note, along with like the sandalwood and the coconut and the amber, it almost goes a tiny bit like sunscreen, just a little bit, or at least there are probably some tanning lotions and sunscreens that smell very much like this because it's just so like quintessentially beachy. I think though that the amazing wood notes in this candle and musk notes in this candle, they're very loud. I would say it takes up, on cold, those wood musk notes are at least 50% of the candle. Upon it being burned, I think it goes up to about 60 or 70% of the candle. And for me, it smells very Bath and Body Works Palo Santo. So if you're familiar with that Palo Santo note, I think that's about as close to it as you can get from Yankee Candle. I love that Palo Santo note, and it's so perfect with the jasmine, with the coconut, with the aquatic, with like the amber, and like it's all the things, and it works so beautifully. This is a stunning beach candle. And it's so great in that it has so many, as I said, of the quintessential elements of a beach candle, and yet somehow feels fresh and innovative and like something you haven't smelled before. And that's why I love it. And that's why, yes, I would repurchase it, despite the fact that it did not perform at all. For those of you who just watched my video on Sunday, hauling the various different candles from Bath and Body Works, one of which was Palo Santo and vanilla. And I had this kind of big moment where I said, I think Palo Santo, that note from Bath and Body Works has become their new mahogany teakwood. And it's so beautiful and so versatile. I personally think that they should have a Palo Santo candle at Bath and Body Works on the floor every single season. There should be at least one, and it can be a mashup and it can be a seasonal mashup. And I was thinking about this candle. So if Bath and Body Works did this candle, and they should, this is Palo Santo Sands. I think they would call it Palo Santo Sands. There is an enormous amount of that Palo Santo musky note in here that is just so, it's like a dupe of Bath and Body Works' Palo Santo candle. And then on top of it, they've got the coconut and the jasmine and the sandalwood and the amber. And that needs to be Bath and Body Works. The Bath and Body Works needs to do this candle, and it needs to be called Palo Santo Sands. That is exactly what this is. This is the prototype for Palo Santo Sands from Bath and Body Works. And I would hope that the Bath & Body Works candle would perform better. And it would also have 3 wicks, so there would be that as well. Yeah, that's why I love it. And that's what gave me the idea for Palo Santo Sands. And it should give Bath & Body Works the idea for Palo Santo and Sands. They would kill for a fragrance like this. It's a little bit more premium and more perfumey than many of the tropical amber coconut wood kind of candles that they usually give us. And so would not be redundant of anything in the Bath & Body Works candle, and would be an amazing like addition into that like Palo Santo family that is beginning to reproduce and flourish, if you know what I mean. Yeah? So that's what I've got for you. I love this candle. If I was Yankee, this is a candle that is 1000% as good as like most of their candles that are just regular and they sell in their regular stores. So I think it's a mistake to just let Target have this one once the collaboration ends, once that exclusivity clause ends. I really think Bahamas Beach Bum needs to come to Yankee Candle, and yes, they need to work on it so that it actually performs. But this would be a bestseller in any company, And like, why shouldn't Yankee capitalize on it? I mean, honestly, they may have made so many questionable marketing moves over the last like decade and don't seem to know what the right hand and the left hand are doing, etc., that I just don't know that they will capitalize on it. But I'll tell you who will. Bath and Body Works, because that is a company that understands marketing and understands the bottom line. They just do. They know what sells and they know how to capitalize on it. So, Bath and Body Works, if you're listening, pick one of these up at Target, give it a smell, and give it to your lab. Give it to your candle designers. This needs to come out next summer as Palo Santo Sands. But as I said, if it goes on at a good price at Target, I will probably pick up another one just to remind myself from time to time. And even if I just smell it on cold, so fantastic. So fantastic. So that's what I've got for you guys. I feel kind of embarrassed about like hyping this collection, and then if it's not going to perform, like I just feel really sad about that. I'm not going to recommend it to you knowing now that these two candles don't perform. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, this one is in the open concept at best a 4, does a little bit better in a closed area. This one in the open concept is a 2, and it improves, can improve up to a 3 or a 4 in a much smaller space if you burn it for a very long time. That is not enough to recommend a candle. I don't care what price point it is. It's as simple as that. However, I did notice that Bahamas Beach Bum has a couple positive reviews on the Target website, and I can understand why, because that fragrance is special and at the same time comforting, quintessential beachy summer. It is like all the things, and it deserves all the accolades. It's just so tragic that it doesn't perform up to its potential. That's what I've got for you. I am going to burn the Aruba candle in July, which is a really bold, the triple melon candle, because if there was ever a month for triple melons, it is July. So I will do that one, and probably not the Barbados one until like late August as a transitional into September kind of scent. So we'll have to see if either one of those does better in terms of strength and throw. But I'm not going to be holding my breath for sure, because it looks to me like Yankee kind of phoned it in terms of performance, possibly because it was a Target exclusive. That's what I've got for you. Thanks for joining me. If you pick them up, let me know. And let me know, despite performance, did you like the fragrances? Because I really liked these two, and I was really hoping for Jamaica, because that black pepper and grapefruit, man, that's a vibe. And I really, really like it. All right. I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks so much. Oh, I'll link all this down below, but you can only get them at Target. So put it in your Target wish list. They run a lot of candle sales, you know? If you can get it for a song, sure. I will probably get the paraffins, and who knows? If the paraffins do better, I will update you guys on that, because, I mean, on paper, as I said, per the beginning preamble, paraffin should perform better. It's just the way that Yankee has been handling the paraffin and the soy in their stores of late. It just seems as though the soy is a better bet in terms of the way they're negotiating that. But if they weren't really paying attention and were kind of phoning it in, it's possible that the paraffins are better if there wasn't good attention to like try to even out the performance of them in terms of strength and throw. All right, I'll catch you in the next one.